Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly home of all the latest motoring news and reviews. In this episode, we say bonjour to a new hot hatch overflowing with heritage.
Plus a freshly facelifted Mercedes G-Wagon.
We've also got a stunning one-off Maserati MC20 drop top.
That's all coming up. First though, the news.
With models like the i5 and large iX2, BMW is rapidly expanding its lineup of all-electric offerings in the premium market. But with battery technology ever on the move, the Bavarian brand is soliciting the help of Croatian EV specialist Rimac in what is being called a long-term partnership. Known for its high-powered electric hypercars, Rimac has previously worked alongside the likes of Porsche and is tied to Bugatti in its endeavours to forward battery tech. Using what it's learnt over its relatively short 15 years in the industry, the Croatian team will work alongside BMW Group to provide high-voltage battery units. Rimac is reportedly dedicating a large team to the project. According to BMW, the fruits of Rimac Technologies' labour will become apparent in the second half of the current decade, so it surely won't be long until those fanatical about the M badge will get to experience EV power with a touch of Rimac magic.
The current shape, Hyundai Tucson, has been around since 2020, wearing its front-end parametric dual design, blending grille and headlight. But in 2024, the fourth-generation Korean SUV gets a mid-life facelift with plenty of interior touch-ups. But most noticeable of all is the front bumper resembling a set of pursed lips, though we'd recommend not giving splattered motorway mosquitoes a smooch. As before, the Tucson gets striking overall looks with plenty of angles and lines giving a muscular stance. A few chrome accents here and there elevate the design in more elaborate trim levels. But it's on the inside that changes really take shape on this new iteration, with the brand explaining its design as prioritising practicality. Every model now gets the twin 12.3-inch touchscreen that sits elegantly on the dash without looking overwhelming. And hooray, as buttons are aplenty aboard this latest Hyundai design, whilst Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and Hyundai's own infotainment system allow plenty of functionality. The illusion of a single, very long air vent along the bottom of the dash is a great addition to the design, as is the clean centre console. But we're not so sure about the three-spoke steering wheel and its almost toy-like shape. A larger centre may well have been a better choice. As practicality goes, the Tucson gets a sizable boot, enough for a full family holiday away, and rear seat space on paper is larger than most offerings in its class. So it looks like the facelift has achieved its goal. Under the bonnet in the standard car, you will find a 1.6-litre turbo available with 48-volt hybrid assistance. That same petrol unit also features in the hybrid and plug-in hybrid models with a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, though a 7-speed auto and all-wheel drive are available as optional extras.
Riding on the same core platform as the Tucson is the Kia Sportage, another Korean take on the SUV shape, and with its LED straights for daytime running lights, it too has a very recognisable fascia. Now in its fifth iteration, launched in 2021, the Sportage is rumoured to get a facelift next year, bringing an overhauled front end, but until then it will have to do battle with a much refreshed Tucson. With the Tucson platform comes the same 1.6-litre engine, so powertrain offerings are very much identical between the two models, even down to the optional extra of all-wheel drive in hybrid models. As a result, fuel mileage of up to 60 miles per gallon are possible with either car, whilst the PHEVs will go up to 43 miles in an all-electric mode. As a result, fuel mileage of up to 60 miles per gallon are possible with either car, whilst the PHEVs will go up to 43 miles in all-electric mode. That is where the similarities end though. Step inside and the refined minimalism of the Tucson is far removed from the bolder design that is the Sportage cabin. The Kia's implementation of the 12.3-inch twin screens feels far less polished than the Tucson, cutting its way into the dashboard. On either end of said screen are a pair of loud, almost warped air vents reflecting the headlight form. Premium faux leather and cloth options are available for the interior upholstery, making for a far more premium feel, and rear passenger space does appear to be healthy. How the Sportage does offer around 30 litres less boot space than the Tucson, or the equivalent of a small carry-on.
For the additional luggage space, Hyundai will charge you about £3,000 more for the Tucson than the Sportage's £29,000 starting price. That price difference closes up as you get further into the range, with both models offering their top-of-the-range all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid specifications for about £45,000. If the Tucson is not enough car for you, a pickup version sporting Santa Cruz badging is available in the US. But more on that another time.
ALPINE, getting its name from a collection of European mountains famous for incredible driving roads, it's no surprise this French manufacturer's history is entangled with rally. In the 1970s, the ALPINE A110 was a force to be reckoned with, twice winning the Monte Carlo Rally. But with its latest creation, the Renault sub-brand is letting go of its early roots, instead looking at another famous rally model, the Renault 5 Turbo. Sporting aggressive looks built upon the upcoming all-electric Renault 5, the ALPINE A290 is a hotter model looking back at one of the crazier Group B rally cars. So where better to test it out than on snow and ice? Currently in prototype form, the final production model will make its official debut at the Le Mans 24 Hours this June, when ALPINE makes its return to the top class. Straight away, with pairs of headlights, the rally inspiration is clear, looking like spotlights fitted to the bumper. And although the testing camouflage hides details, the Renault 5 base is also evident in the A290 shape. But before we get a view of the production model, the aggressive lower front end and small wing at the back will be standard additions to a dynamic variant. Under the sporty attire lies a relatively inactive character, as the ALPINE 290 essentially carries over the same 52 kilowatt-hour battery architecture as the Renault Zoe. But despite lacking muscle, the hot hatch is powerful, getting the same 215 brake electric motor as the new shape Megane. ALPINE reports that a 0 to 62 time of under 7 seconds will give this model the oomph needed to bear the hot hatch title. Carrying on the parts bin special that is the A290 specification sheet, braking comes from the same 4-pot units found on the current ALPINE A110 sports car. Helping the model to get through snowy stages with just a hint of understeer is a fancy torque vectoring system that simulates the limited slip dip found in your combustion front-wheel drive sports car.
ALPINE may well be one of the most recognisable names in rallying history, but the French marquee had one rival in its Monte Carlo battles, and it too is giving us an electric hot hatch. The Mini Electric is far from a new model, but in 2024 the cute city car is spawning a dedicated hotter variant with extra power and aggression. This Cooper SE is currently the range-topping electric Mini with its larger 54.2 kilowatt-hour battery, giving the model 215 brake horsepower. With its motor on the front axle, the new Mini will reach 62 miles per hour in 6.7 seconds, making it a perfect contender to the Alpine. With its slightly larger battery compared to the French model, the Mini Cooper SE can expect to get around 250 miles on a single charge according to the brand, with fast charging powering it from 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. In its SE specification, the electric Mini Cooper starts at £34,000. But if it's a touch of French flair you're looking for, expectations place the Alpine in a similar bracket as the Mini.
And it certainly will be full of flair when Alpine unveils the A290 this June, as the compact steering wheel with racing-inspired buttons sits not on the right, nor the left for that matter. Driving this quirky creation will see you sitting in the middle of the car. We look forward to seeing the Alpine A290 in its final form in just a few months, and will follow its modern-day fight against the Mini with bated breath.
After the break, Maserati puts an end to cars finished in dreary colours.
Welcome back. Coming up, the infamous Mercedes G-Wagon gets a refresh.
Handsome styling, practical space, enjoyable driving, and relatively affordable EV living. Ever since the Polestar 2 launched in 2020, it has been one of the most popular all-electric models among consumers. And now the Volvo subsidiary brand is updating its bestseller for the 2024 model year. Visually, there are very little differences between the new car and its older iteration, as the underpinnings are where much of the research and development time has gone. Bringing improved tech, the new Polestar 2 is both faster and more efficient, according to the manufacturer, helping it stay in the all-electric family car fight. Under the sleek, attractive saloon looks, the long-range model's battery gets an additional 4 kilowatt-hours to 82, which, along with a more efficient motor design, ups maximum range by over 50 miles. With the motor now moved from front to rear, the single-motor model will now do up to 395 miles on a charge. It also means that carving mountain roads will be far more enjoyable. In dual-motor form, 368 miles is what you can expect from a full battery, which still represents a 65-mile increase over the previous model. Power also gets a healthy bump to just under 270 brake horsepower and an astonishing 470 for the most powerful all-wheel drive too, with the Performance Pack. Even in the dual motor setup, Polestar has given its popular model more rear bias on power, so enthusiasts can still have fun in the new age. What's the price for all this, you might ask? Well, if your heart is set on the mind-boggling Performance Pack with all its bells and whistles, you must be willing to part ways with £58,000. But a more reasonable £45,000 will get you the entry level, and no doubt just as much fun as the standard range model in rear-wheel drive layout.
From honest, rugged and purposeful routes in the remote German mountains to the width restrictions, traffic and parading of life as a Chelsea tractor, the Mercedes G-Wagon's main clientele has changed dramatically since its inception. But that has not stopped the famous model from remaining a popular choice of flashy SUV. In 2024, the top-flight Merc receives a mid-life facelift, but with looks virtually unchanged since the car's first unveiling in 1979, you won't be able to spot many differences. Just as it has been throughout the moniker's history, it is both inside and under the skin that those familiar with the truck will notice a new aura. Getting the now well-travelled MBUX infotainment system, the new G-Wagon gets a pair of 12.3-inch screens, a driver's display and media touchscreen. The former gets use of an all-new off-road cockpit functionality, providing the driver with lean angles, altitude, torque curves and more information crucial to navigating the open desert. The transparent bonnet mode helps provide an unobstructed view of rocks or high curbs up ahead. Aside from tech, the new Mercedes off-roader is an ode to refinement, thanks to a nice finish with Napa leather upholstery and stunning trim pieces, as you would expect from a model catering to high society. Here in the UK, just 3 main engine choices are available. At the top of the food chain, the G63 retains its AMG-designed 4-litre V8. But with 48-volt hybrid assistance, it's good for 585 brake horsepower and will shoot the SUV from a standstill to 62 in 4.3 seconds. Sticking with petrol, the G500 gets 440 brake, 3-litre 6-pot, while a diesel straight 6 gives 360 bhp with the G450 badge.
Throughout the history of opulent SUVs, the G-Class has had one main Chelsea tractor rival, the Land Rover Defender. In its previous generation before the 2020 overhaul, the Landy was perhaps a more rugged model, more evenly splitting between adventurous and pedestrian uses. But now we rarely see many new-shaped Defenders getting down and dirty. But that doesn't mean the new model is not capable of heading into the wilderness thanks to its many trick driving modes, helping it to cover all kinds of ground. Better yet, in this V8 specification, 518 brake horsepower to the wheels will ensure nothing gets in its way, and supercharged burbles will warn surrounding wildlife of its impending arrival. Just like the G-Class, this swanky SUV's interior gets a mix of fashion and function. We're not sure if anyone uses the dash-mounted grab handles, but they help hammer in the point that the Defender could leave the city centre. Yet fancy metallic finished trim and ostentatious leather will make you think twice before jumping in, draped in muddy wellies. In its entry-level short wheelbase 90 form, the Defender is available from just under £62,000, though for the ruthless V8 90, you must be willing to part ways with £109,000. £2,000 more will get you the 110 chassis, whilst an additional 7 brings you up to 130 specification.
Whilst the up-to-date Mercedes G-Class prices have not been announced, the previous iteration started at £130,000. But while representing quite the saving, the Defender's social standing may not be quite as high as a G, nor will it grab the same attention. And isn't that the point of a Chelsea tractor? If you do plan on sticking to urban streets aboard your fancy high-riding SUV, perhaps it's best waiting another few weeks before taking the plunge, as Mercedes is set to launch an all-electric version of its G-Class. So stay tuned to Auto Mundial for all the details.
Bringing out a successor to the MC12 in the shape of the MC20, Maserati is moving away from its recent appeal to the elders in society, instead creating models younger folk can get behind. One of which is the drop-top version of the MC20, the Maserati MC20 CIELO, with its twin-turbo 3-litre V6, 621 brake horsepower and 200 miles per hour top speed is one of them. But there are a select few in this world with deeper pockets than a seafloor trench that will want a step more exclusivity than the £230,000 supercar. That's where this unique creation comes in. It's called the Opera d'Arte and is essentially a bog-standard Maserati MC20 CIELO with a one-off paint job emerging from the brand's bespoke Maserati Furiseria programme. According to Maserati, the project's brief was to create a dynamic canvas echoing abstract art forms, and with the livery's quirky use of flashy colours and flowing shapes, we can definitely see the intention. Seemingly shooting away from the front end and surrounding the wheels, the livery gives the car an additional sense of movement, as if the sleek supercar design of the standard Maserati MC20 was not infused with enough zest. At the centre of it all is the yellow highlighter that is the Maserati Trident, whilst multicolour painted rims are akin to a colour wheel. Today, cars on the open road are increasingly finished in shades of grey, and under the gloomy weather of the UK, we do find that to look quite dull. So it's always nice to see owners going the extra mile to stand out with flashy colour combinations like this Opera d'Arte. Maserati's bespoke car creation programme, Fuoriserie, is evidently now fully operational, so hopefully we get to see more stupendously stunning supercars in the near future.
Thanks very much for watching. Next week on Auto Mundial, Volkswagen brings us yet another slightly bulkier sporty EV. Don't miss it.